Hello everyone, welcome back to another lockdown special of Flames of War Battle Reports. Today I won't be playing, it will be Sherry and Dave playing, and I'm just going to be moving everything around and putting tokens down while they roll all the dice and make all the decisions. Dave will be playing as the attacking Germans, and Sherry will be playing as the defending British. This is the third mission from the D-Day German book, and the mission is Contact. And because of the result from the last mission where I played Sherry, the British do not have Ambush as the defender. And whoever gets a major or stunning victory in this game will have some bonuses for the next mission. So let's have a look at what Dave is attacking with first. Dave has gone for a Fallschirmjager Company, and we have two Fallschirmjagers, MP40 teams as the HQ, and then we have two full platoons of Fallschirmjager, and they are upgraded with Panzerfaust. Rounding off the formation at the back are four 8cm Stummel mortars. In support, Dave has four Flak 88s, 3 Wesps, 1 Panzer III observation tank, and 4 Panthers. That gives you 107 points of models, so Dave has used the own goal command card to halt Sherry's reserves coming in, which is a fairly good choice. And now let's look what the British are defending with. This is Sherry's defending British. We have a Polish Armoured Sherman Squadron, so that is using the Black Devils command card, and basically it's plus 2 points per unit and they become fearless. So these are fearless Shermans. So we have a HQ of 3, and then we have 3 troops of 3 tanks, and each troop has 2 regular Shermans and the Sherman Firefly with the big 17-pounder gun. And that's one formation. And then we have a second formation of Motor Company Infantry. So we have a HQ team of 2 SMG bases, and then 2 full platoons of 4 rifle brand gun teams, a Piat and a knee mortar, and there's also 3 universal carriers in that formation too. In support, we have 4 M10s with 17-pounders, and we have 4 Sextons. And as I mentioned in previous videos, that's a command card that reduces the stats of the priest, and it makes it cheaper by about 2 points as well. So, and it's basically mobile 25-pounders, which is, they're very good artillery units to have and cheaper than the priests. So that is 107 points again of on-field models. So Sherry has taken the French resistance raid, which is basically exactly the same as the own goal card. So both Sherry and Dave are trying to hamper reserves coming in, which will be really interesting. So that is both forces, and I'll set up the board and we'll have a little look before anything goes down. So I have set up the board, and I'm extremely jealous of Dave and Sherry being able to use this this table, because I think I have actually set up probably one of my better battlefields. Got a nice little farm going on here with a farmhouse and a small bridge to get over the river. There's a few other crossing points on the river, as well as another stone bridge. And then we have a little forest over here, so a nice winding road trying to get past all the obstacles. And then we have a little bit of a war-torn town. So some of the buildings are intact, but there's a few craters all over the place. So it's a nice looking town. So Sherry gets first pick of what side she wants to deploy on, and then it'll be Dave. Just be the opposite side with Dave anyway. Then there's some objective placing, ranged in markers, and then we're ready to play with Germans going first because they are the attackers. So this should be an interesting game. Panthers a little bit more vulnerable this game because of the 17-pounders, but they will be in reserve anyway, so let's see how Dave can cope with 17-pounders this game. So, British deployment. We have infantry platoons in this building, and the HQ is in here, in this semi-detached house, and we have M10s in the middle of the road. Over on the right we have the Universal Carriers, a platoon of Shermans and the Sextons. In reserve we have 2 platoons of Shermans and the HQ. For the German deployment we have the Wesps in the far field with the observation tank here as well. The Flak 88s are looking down the road and holding the objective, and we have all the Fallschirmjager on this right flank. So 1 platoon, the mortars, another platoon and the HQ, and in reserve we have the panthers. So going into turn 1, I've got Sherry and Dave both on FaceTime. So Dave, in your startup step, you have 1 dice for reserves on your first turn.
Okay. Right. Let's see where I roll. Just gonna look things about first. Okay. I roll a 4.
Alright, so no reserves for you this turn. So we have German turn 1, and Dave will be launching an assault. So with German movement, we have the Fallschirmjager all moving up. These guys have moved into the church with the help of a follow me order, and the formation commander has moved up as well. These gentlemen of 2nd platoon have done the same. They've dashed up, and they've also had a follow me order, which has been very successful this turn for Dave. And now we're going into shooting for the Germans' first round. German shooting was dominated by artillery barrages. The mortars managed to take a couple of hits on the infantry in this building. No kills yet, but they are pinned. And the Wesps on their 3rd attempt managed to range in as well, and no kills either. The Flak 88s had a few shots at the M10s down the road, but with long range concealment and gone to ground, they were unable to hit anything. Another Flak 88 hit a mortar in this building, but was unable to kill. So we're going into British turn 1. Sherry, you have a pinned down rifle team in the building.
Okay.
So they are rallying on a 5+ because they're war weary.
I got 2.
Okay, I'll just check the distance for re-rolls. Wherever my... oh, I got it in my pocket. So the formation commander... so yeah, you get a re-roll because the formation commander is right next to them.
For 4.
Okay, so they're still pinned. So we're going into British movement turn 1 because no reserves for Sherry yet. British movement. The Shermans are pushed up beyond the objective just to give us some cover. The Universal Carriers have tactically moved over the bridge and should hose down some Fallschirmjager. The formation commander has moved into this damaged shop alongside a 2nd platoon of motor infantry, and the M10s have followed me. Crossed here over these craters and now are in the streets of the town. So now we're going into British shooting for their first turn. British shooting, combination of the Universal Carriers and the Saxons ranging on this church. The platoon has been pinned and has lost 2 bases because 2 guys unfortunately got caught out in the open. Apart from that, there was no other successes for the British. There was some fire from both these houses onto the gentleman in the courtyard of the church, but no kills. And that is it for the British shooting. So now we're going into German turn 2. Dave, you have a pinned down Fallschirmjager unit. Okay, so they are unpinned, and now Dave has 2 dice for reserves.
Do I roll them all at the same time, Bob?
Yes.
You got a 4 and a 2.
Right, so that's not enough, unfortunately. So now we're going into German movement turn 2. So with the Fallschrimjager rallied, they have moved into the church, but there's a very big platoon, so not all of them could make it in. So 3 unfortunately are out here. They've gone by here so they can be protected by the wall from this area. For this area they're just going to have to bear it. The other platoon has moved into this building, managed to cram them all in. And that is it for German movement. Still waiting for their panthers to turn up. And there we go. So now we're going into German shooting. So German shooting, both mortars and Vesps have ranged in again on the building. Got quite a few hits but no kills at the moment. The rifle teams over here also had a few shots but didn't get anything. Dave will have a few more shots with the guys in this building. We forgot to do that. As we'll record that so we can see some of that. The Flak 88s did hit all 3 universal carriers and only managed to kill 1 with the firepower tests. So Dave, you have 2 rifle shots from your guys in the building on the other universal carrier and you're hitting on 5s.
Oh yeah. Shots.
2.
What about the Fiats?
Oh, fire that later.
Right, okay. 6 and a 4.
Alright, Cherry, you've got 1 save to make.
Alright. Got 3, so...
He's fine. Right, Dave, do you want to fire your Panzerfaust at the M10 or the infantry?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, so you'll be hitting on a 5 because you moved.
Alright. Yeah, I got 5.
Ooh, right then, so let's have a little check. So, the Panzerfaust is 8011, if you can see that there, and the front armour of a M10 is 5. Oh, sorry, it's a 12. So, Sherry, you can't equal that, even with a 6. So, Dave, you are killing that M10 on a 5+.
Okay. I roll a 5.
Alright, so we do have 1 dead M10. So we did measure it earlier. It is just about 4 inches from here to here. So yes, that's 1 dead M10. So Sherry, in your startup step you have 2 bailed out universal carriers. And they're bailing back in on 4s.
I think I Evo, so...
Okay, so that is bad. And then you also have a motor platoon that needs a rally on a 5.
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay, ooh, so these are unrallied. And now you have a last stand test on the universal carriers on a 5.
I got 2.
Alright, so all 2 of these universal carriers are dead. And now we're going into British movement for their second turn. British movement, the Saxtons have moved along the road and the Shermans have positioned themselves so they can fire down onto the church. All the infantry have stayed put and the M10s have moved out of the street to look at the infantry in the church. And that is it for British movement, and now we're going to go into some shooting again. So British shooting, the Saxtons fired directly at the Vesps, didn't get any hits. The Shermans fired into the church, also no hits. The M10s and all the infantry here opened up and fired into the Fallschirmjager platoon. They are pinned and have only lost 1 team, and that is it for the British. Going into German turn 3, Dave, you have a pinned down Fallschirmjager unit. Okay, and Dave would be rolling 3 dice for reserves, and there's only 1 reserve left for him to bring in, so that is the Panthers. So there's no need for him to roll, because when you roll 3 or more dice, you auto get in if you fail anyway. So there's no need for Dave to waste the energy rolling those dice. So we'll see where they come in from, and we'll go into German movement. German movement, this is where the Panthers have ended up using their tactical move coming on, and these Saxtons are a bit worried now, because in front of them before there was just an OP tank and some Vesps, and now they got 4 panthers to deal with. And the infantry in the church have moved out, and they are looking at the M10s with some intent. So we're going into shooting first. So in the shooting step, the Saxtons have managed to dodge all the incoming fire. Over here there's smoke all over the place. There's smoke here from the Vesps, and smoke here from the 8cm mortars. The infantry did have a plucky shot at the M10s with their Panzerfaust, but they unfortunately missed. And that's where we're looking at the end of the shooting phase, and there will be a few assaults here. The infantry formation commander did move in with this lot as well to give him some extra motivation. So we're going into turn 3 assaults. So starting with the assaults, the infantry over here moved into the terrorists against the infantry. They killed a couple of bases, and then Sherry decided to break off, so pushed the formation commander into the later room over here, and the M10s shuffled over. So when these guys assaulted, there were a bit more defensive fire from here, which was unfortunate. So this assault got fallback, and quite a few Fallschirmjager lost their lives in the attempt, so they are pinned as well. So going into Sherry's turn 3, Sherry, you have a pinned down rifle team to rally on F5. But you get a reroll for the formation commander.
4.
Alright, so he stays pinned, and then you have 1 dice for reserves.
6.
Right, Dave? She gets a 6, so would you want to use your own goal card?
Sorry, Mark.
It cut off there.
Okay, so basically, if you use your own goal card, she'll have to re-roll that 6.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go on then, Sherry, you have to re-roll that.
Oh, I got 6 again.
Okay, right then, Sherry, you have to roll the dice now to determine where the reserves come in from.
Okay. Oh. I got 3.
Okay, so that's anywhere on the back table. And what do you want to bring in? Do you want to bring in a regular troop of Shermans, or do you want to bring in the HQ?
I'll bring in the regulars to begin with.
Okay, so we're going into British movement for turn 3, and they have reserves in. So this is where the Shermans ended up from reserve. They're just behind the crest of the hill, so no one can see them yet. The other Shermans have moved up the road by here, and the M10s remain stationary. Infantry here remains stationary, so is the HQ, and the infantry have moved in between the street here. That's still pinned. Saxtons, though, have decided to move up further. So I'm sure Sherry has a plan, but she's done this. So now we're going into British shooting. So in the shooting phase, the Saxtons have managed to knock out a Vesp. The Shermans managed to take away another base of the Fallschrimjager, so there's only 2 of them left now. And the M10s didn't do anything, unfortunately, and this infantry team were too far away because the smoke is blocking their line of sight. So that is it for the British turn 3. We're going into turn 4 now for the Germans. So Dave, you have a pinned down Fallschirmjager unit.
Okay. Maybe I was on 6.
Okay, so they're unpinned, but they also now have a last stand test to do.
2.
But you get a reroll because of the formation commander.
1.
Right, so they have run away, leaving the formation commander on his own. So we're going into German movement turn 4. German movement, the Fallschirmjager are moving into assault range for this formation commander. The formation HQ has moved into the church to seek some safety, and over here everything else has remained stationary. The Panthers are going to teach these sextons a lesson in being too brave. So now we're going into German shooting. So this is what happens when panthers shoot at close range into sextons. We get a mess. One did survive though, but he is bailed, so I doubt he'll stick around. Over in the centre, the Flak 88 split their fire, killed a Firefly, and they killed an M10. One M10 was bailed because of a Panzer Faust from the Fallschirmjager, and the rest fired into this building before they go into the assault. They're not pinned, but there's not many people who can cover fire because of the buildings in the way. So we'll be going into an assault on Dave's 4th turn. So the assault ended like this. The Fallschirmjager only lost 1 unit to defensive fire. The formation commander for the British has been killed, along with his 2 IC, and then everything else had to break off. They failed their counterattack, so that left another M10 dead. 1 platoon of motor infantry had to pull back to here, and then the others had to pull back outside of the house, and that's where it ended for the British turn 4. So, Sherry?
Yeah.
Right, your turn 4, you have a bailed out sexton, which is mounting back in on a 3.
Are you? Got 2.
Oh no, so he stays bailed out. And now you have 2 platoons of infantry that are pinned. So the ones on the objective rallying on a 5.
Or a 3.
No, and then the ones in the crater.
Or a 6.
Okay, so they rally. And then you have a last stand test to do on the sextons, which is going to be a 3.
I got 2.
So he dies, and then you've also got a last stand test to do on the M10s as well, which is going to be a 4.
I got a 6.
Alright, so he sticks around. Okay, so yeah, and now you got 2 dice for reserve, Sherry.
Okay. I got a 5 and a 1.
Okay, so roll the 5 to see where they come in from.
Or a 3. So
Okay, so wherever Sherry wants again. So we'll go into British movement for turn 4. So British movement, these Shermans failed the blitz move, so they had to move up tactically anyway onto the crest of the hill. This is where the reserves have ended up. These infantry tried to dig in but failed. The other infantry in this crater have moved into this building, and the 2 remaining Shermans are moving up the road with the M10. So we'll see how that works out for them. So we're going into British shooting. So in British shooting step, the Shermans on the hill didn't hit anything. These Shermans fired their main armament into the Flak 88s and took one out. M10 fired their MGs into the building and didn't get anything. And over here, the infantry tried to shoot at the Fallschirmjager, got a few hits, but not enough to kill anything. So going into turn 5. Dave, you don't have any motivations to do, or any last stands that I can see, so we're going straight into your movement step. So German movement, the Panthers are using a nice smoke screen that has been provided by the burning sextons. The formation commander in the church is remaining still because he is within 4 inches of a Sherman tank, so we'll see what happens with that. And the Fallschirmjager have moved into this building here. Although the unit is so large, there's still about 3 units in this building here. So we are going into German shooting for their 5th turn. So the best the Panthers could do on the Shermans was a bail. The Flak 88s killed a Sherman and bailed the other, so this assault is a lot easier for the HQ now. And these guys got hit a few times by the Fallschirmjager, but they passed all their saves, so they're still okay for now. So into the assault, basically we're going to get a dead Sherman unless this M10 can do something. So, in the assault step, the M10 did actually counterattack once, but didn't kill any of the HQ, and then the Fallschirmjager rallied and attacked again, and then the M10 failed the counterattack, so had to drive away and leave the M10 to blow, the Sherman to blow up. So we're going into British turn 5. Sherry, you have a bailed out Sherman on the hill, and he's getting back in on a 3.
Guess what I get? 2.
Oh, so he's still bailed out. And you get a pin down unit as well, and that is going to be rallying on a 5.
Or 6.
Oops, so they're unpinned. And then you get your last unit in anyway, because you'll be rolling 3 dice. And you are going to roll to see where it comes from.
I got a 6.
Right, so that is going to be in this corner by here. So we'll go into British movement and see what happens. As we were finishing the movement step, we remembered the M10 was last standing and it drove away, which is unfortunate because they could have done with that fire support for this building here. The reserves for the Shermans came in by here. They've moved in to hopefully put some fire down on the Panthers, and the other Shermans have moved onto the hill as well to try and get rid of as many Panthers as possible. So we're going into British shooting on their 5th turn. So unfortunately for the British, nothing happened. There's a few hits with the Shermans on this Panther here. Needed a 1 to potentially bail it, and unfortunately with 3 shots from Fireflies, they all missed. Over here, the motor platoons fired into the building, managed to pin, but no kills, and the British are going to have to do some assaulting this turn to try and get rid of the Fallschirmjager. Well, push him off the objective anyway. The British motor platoon valiantly tried to get in, killed 2 bases, but then the Fallschirmjager came back out and they killed them all. So when this unit looked to counterattack, it was just out of range to counterattack, so the Fallschirmjager have moved to here. And in fact, these guys will have to move outside of 8 anyway, but it doesn't matter because it won't affect the game anyway. So going into Dave's turn 6, you have a pinned down Fallschirmjager team, which doesn't stop them holding the objective anyway.
I give it 1.
So they're still pinned, but Dave starts his turn on the objective and ends it on the objective, so it won't matter at any point now what he does this turn. It is game. Unless you want to blow up some more tanks, Dave, it won't affect the campaign at all. What do you want to do? Do you want to just summarise the game?
I'd like to shoot. I want to see what the Panthers can do.
Alright, so Dave's going to shoot with his Panthers, and then we'll recap and we'll calculate the margin of victory to see if Dave will get any bonuses for next game. So the Panthers managed to kill a Firefly. They got another bail on this one, but didn't do anything. So that is the game. Dave lost 1 unit, and that was a platoon of Fallschirmjager. So that is a stunning victory. So because of that, going into game 4 of the campaign, which is rearguard, where Dave will be defending, Dave gets an extra minefield, so that will bring the total to 5 for the points level we're playing. So that is it. So I'll discuss with Dave and Sherry how they felt the game. Dave will probably be a bit more happy about it than Sherry, but yeah, it seemed quite a fun game. I was very jealous, so they got to play on this map. It was a very nice looking map. I think Sherry needs to stop driving her tanks into the range of big guns. Would probably help, but no, I think Sherry just quite a very Polish attitude and just go straight at them. But yeah, so hope you all enjoyed that game. I did. It's very strange having no one here to tell what to do and seeing no dice being rolled myself in person. But nah, it's a really good game. I hope you all enjoyed, and everyone stay safe.